The Louisiana Department of Education presents Student of the Year 2016-2017, hosted by Marion Johnson.
Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar concerning the selection of the Student of the Year candidates for 2016. I'm Marion Johnson, the Student of the Year Program Coordinator for the Department of Education. I ask that you have any questions at the conclusion of this presentation to please contact me through my email, which is at the end of this PowerPoint presentation, or my phone number that is also provided in this PowerPoint. The Student of the Year program is a wonderful opportunity to highlight and celebrate the accomplishments of the top students in our districts and in our state. We want to commend those students who have excelled as scholars, leaders, and service volunteers for their school, church, and community. Last year, our state winners came from 3 different areas of the state: North, South, and Central Louisiana. Hailing from the southern part of the state in Terrebonne Parish was our 5th grade winner, Rhett Williams, a student at Montague Middle School that is situated in the southern portion of Terrebonne Parish. Traveling to our northern border, we found our 8th grade Student of the Year, Ethan Coker, a student at Haynesville High School located in Claiborne Parish. Finally, our 12th grade Student of the Year, Victor Rushing, a senior who attended Live Oak High School in Livingston Parish in the central part of our state. Outstanding students like these are found throughout our state. This Student of the Year competition gives you the opportunity to recognize and honor their accomplishments and contributions. Last year, our office noticed the same questions were being asked of the department, and some sections of the guidelines needed clarification. As a result, the LDE thought a webinar could address these concerns. So by the end of this webinar, you will understand the revisions impacting charter school submissions. In an effort to provide more clarity on the candidate submission process for charter schools, a process has been delineated to address the concerns raised last year. The selection process used for a Student of the Year in grades 5, 8, and 12. This includes the timeline, individual components, and district responsibilities. You will also understand the role each district plays in the selection process. Each district is responsible for nominating 1 student for each of the 3 grade levels. Districts also need to volunteer to host a regional competition. If districts do not volunteer to host all or part of a regional competition, then no student of that region may participate at the state level. In other words, our candidates at the state level must go through a regional selection process. They cannot go straight from district to state. The next thing you will understand is the components the students must complete at the district, regional, and state levels. This includes the portfolio components, the essay, and the interview process. Finally, you will understand the paperwork that must be submitted to the LDE and regional coordinators. Districts will need to submit their district information form to the LDE, specifically to me, by the end of this week, November 13th. My email address is in the logistics memo and at the end of this presentation. By the end of January, district coordinators will need to send the student portfolios for their district nominees and their district information forms to the regional coordinators. The first agenda item for your selection process should be to download the revised 2016 Student of the Year guidelines found on our website. We encourage you to read the bulletin to refresh your memory about specifications and to understand the revisions in the selection process. If you do not have a hard copy of the document, the URL for the guidebook is posted on our website. You will need to designate someone from your LEA as the contact person for receiving information and submitting information to and from the region and state coordinators. Let's take a closer look at the revised LEA information form. The purpose of the district information form is so that one person in each district or local education agency The contact information requested on the document provides the LDE with the LEA's information that will be used by the regional coordinator and the LDE to furnish information about regional and state competitions. If you look at the form, you have the school district, the district contact name, their position, their mailing address, city, state, and zip, the coordinator's email, their telephone number, and fax number. This form also lists information whether or not you would like to host a regional competition for the grade levels in your region. Last year, 4 of our 6 regions divided the grade level selection process among 2 or 3 LEAs, with only 2 districts hosting all 3 grade levels. When the process is shared in this manner, it requires fewer judges and less meeting room space. It may be an option you would like to consider. If your region does not have someone to host a regional competition, then your region will not be represented in the state-level selection process. We would like to thank all of the regions who volunteered in the past that have helped to coordinate this process. Your efforts were very much appreciated. You will need to check off your district's decision concerning their level of participation. There will be no one from your school system participating on the selection committee, or the district would be interested in hosting all or part of the regional competition. Districts, of course, may indicate they want to share responsibilities. If you would like to help with this, simply indicate that on the form. It would also help if you included at least one person from your district to serve on the regional committee so that all districts are represented on the regional selection committee. These people could include a teacher, an administrator, or someone from your community. If you recommend someone for this committee, then it relieves the stress of the regional coordinator in locating qualifying judges that are outlined in the guidelines. Now on to the next step in the process, determining your timeline based on the LDE timeline. This timeline was included in the logistics memo that has already been posted on the website. We will briefly go over the dates listed. November 13th, LEAs will need to submit to the LDE the district LEA chairperson information and regional hosting request that is listed on the district information form. LEAs may volunteer to host a regional competition by indicating that on the district information form. An LEA may choose to host all grades or just host one grade level. Last year, 4 regions shared grade level hosting responsibility, and it seemed to be less stressful for them. Fewer judges and spaces were needed since only 12 to 14 students were involved. Regional hosts basically use the same process in determining a state nominee. The state will provide regions electronic copies of all scoring sheets, interview questions, and essay prompts and rubrics. As soon as all regional coordinators have been established, the information will be sent to the district coordinators. Schools will select nominees and submit student portfolios to their district or LEA for consideration. Types 2, 4, and 5 charter schools will submit their nominees to a regional charter school selection committee. These committees will be established by early December. So hold on to your nominees at this time until we have those committees established. All LEAs will need to follow the guidelines for selection that are outlined in the Student of the Year Bulletin. The LEA coordinator, on behalf of the superintendent or CEO for the LEA, will submit the names of 3 district nominees, 1 for grade 5, 1 for grade 8, and 1 for grade 12, to their regional student selection committee chairperson. Each regional charter school committee will submit their school nominees to the regional student selection committee. On February 1st through 29th, the regional coordinators will determine when and where competitions will occur for their region and notify districts of their particular deadlines. All regional competitions will use the same interview questions, essay prompts, and scoring forms to ensure equality of scoring. Districts will send the student's nominee's portfolio to the regional chairman by the designated dates. Regions will hold on to those portfolio until the state releases the names of the regional nominees by March 18th. Regions will not announce their selections. By March 4th, the regional committee chairpersons must then submit the names and the portfolios of their 3 regional candidates to the state selection committee through me, Marion Johnson, to the physical address indicated on the logistics memo. It cannot be submitted electronically. March 14th through 18th, the Louisiana Department of Education will release the names of the 18 regional nominees. On March 12th through 13th, the State Selection Committee reviews the academic portfolios of the regional nominees, conducts interviews with the regional finalists, and administers the writing samples. The state provides overnight lodging for the candidates on April 12th and 13th due to the start and ending times of the activities the nominees are required to attend. On the evening of April 13th, the State Selection Committee will name the Elementary Student of the Year for grade 5, the Middle Junior High School Student of the Year for grade 12, and the High School Student of the Year, grade 12. The nominees' family, school principal, and superintendent will receive a personal invitation to the reception and awards program that will be held that evening at 6 p.m. Now, what are the revisions to the guidelines? In accordance with Louisiana Statute 173914, the Louisiana Student Privacy Act, The parent permission statement has to be changed to meet the specifications identified in the law. If your LEA has already begun the selection process for their nominees, you must ensure that the new signature page is used with the approved wording by the time nominees are submitted to the district. If a selection has already been made by an LEA, the new signatures must be attained on the new form. The remainder of the portfolio is acceptable. If you have already begun this process and have used the form from last year, page 1 of the application will need to be revised, or not revised, but redone and re-signed, and then put back into the portfolio. The second revision pertains to charter schools. Charter school submissions have been revised to address concerns from last year. Each Type 1 and Type 3 charter school that is authorized by their local school boards will submit their nominees to their local school system. Each Type 2, 4, and 5 charter school that is BESE authorized will submit their nominees to the regional charter school chairperson. This finalized information will be forthcoming by the end of November or the beginning of December. So far, we have discussed the district information form, the timelines, and the revisions to be used in this selection process. The purpose of our Student of the Year program is to recognize outstanding elementary, middle or junior high, and high school students enrolled in grades 5, 8, and 12 who have demonstrated exemplary academic achievements, leadership abilities, and citizenship. We are going to review the attributes that should be considered in your selection process. Academics. Nominees must have a cumulative grade point average of 3.5 or higher. The grade points are calculated in the following manner. Grade 5, use grades 3, 4, and 5 and their current grades. Grade 8, 6, 7, 8 with their current grades. And grade 12, use grades 9, 10, 11, and 12 with their current grades. Leadership. Nominees should list positions of leadership held at school, church, and community. Fifth grade students may include this type of information, but it is not directly scored on the evaluation document. Since students at the elementary level have limited opportunities, it would be unfair to rate this attribute. We still want that information noted. Citizenship. Nominees should list activities that demonstrate contributions to school, church, or community, such as Boy or Girl Scouts, volunteer activities at school, such as service clubs, peer tutoring, charity drives, and so forth, church involvement, such as youth group services, altar servers, readers, choirs, and any other activity at church, as well as involvement in community service, such as fundraising for nonprofit groups, volunteering to assist the elderly, local committees or boards that impact the community in which they live, or state boards to which they are appointed to. Recognitions and awards. It's best to list this type of information from the most recent to the oldest. Communication skills. All candidates at regional and state levels will be interviewed by a panel of judges. Students will also be asked to complete writing samples at each level as well. Prompts will be provided at regional and state levels of competition. Now you know what attributes you are scoring. Let's talk about how that information is arranged in the portfolio. The guidelines specify binder sizes that may be submitted. 11.5 by 11 is the largest. Basically use a standard binder size as your rule of thumb. We're not going to take out a ruler and measure if it's 11.5, as long as it is in that ballpark. This is a standard binder size. One page can be both back and front. If clear sleeves are used, the back and front sheets are considered one page. Font size can be no smaller than a 12-point font. If the portfolio exceeds the page limit, uses a smaller font size, or too large of a binder, points are deducted from the overall score. Excessively decorated binders are discouraged. The revised student information page must be completely filled out and signed by the appropriate parties. This year, this application has text fields, so inserting the information should not be an issue. A current photo should be included or attached in some way. Students should prepare a biographical sketch which will serve as a writing sample at the school level. This sample may be handwritten or typed. The sketch for all students should include information about their family history, interest, and career aspirations. The students have been encouraged to address 3 issues that are important to them, or an incident that may have had a major influence on their lives. For elementary students, a teacher may wish to pose specific questions for their students to address. A student will need to include a photocopy of their cumulative grade card. I realize that many districts have gone to an electronic version of this. A computer printout of their past academic record is recommended or is required, as are their current semester grades, the appropriate or current report card, high school transcripts, if applicable, all prior statewide assessments prior to the current grade level, as well as their plan, explore, ACT, PSAT, or SAT scores. Items to be listed for leadership, service activities, and recognitions and awards should be listed chronologically from the most recent to the oldest. If more lines need to be added to the tables, you may add lines to the tables as needed. If space permits, a student may include letters of recommendation or certificates. Please remember to use the fronts and backs of the plastic sleeves to get maximum space. The students' writing skills will be assessed at every level of the competition. The first writing sample all students will submit is the biographical sketch, which we have already discussed. Districts, if you choose to include a writing sample, may determine their own prompts. Prompts for the regional and state levels of competition will be provided by the LDE. The interview is the next part of the process for district, regional, and state levels. The judges will score poise and confidence, the ability to relate ideas, their ability to speak fluently, the student's voice projection, and clear focus on a particular topic, their use of fact to support a position, flexibility in responding to questions, the use of correct grammar in their response, the relevance of their answers, and appropriate body language and eye contact. If a student has had little experience with being interviewed by a panel, schools are encouraged to work with them prior to the interview experience so that they are not overly anxious about the process. Who should be on the Student Selection Committee? The LEA Selection Committee should be comprised of an appropriate grade level teacher, central office administrators, and community members. We recommend 4 to 5 members for each grade level committee that follow the types of personnel described in the guidelines. The community members may be from business or industry, labor or civic organizations, or represent the charter schools in your LEA. If you do not have a charter school in your school system, then you would not be required to have a charter school member on your committee. If you have higher education representatives in your community, we encourage you to include them at the district level. Regional and state level committees should try to have representation from other districts in their region, representing the people listed on the slide. District chairmen can greatly assist by finding people to represent their district in the regional selection process. What scoring rubrics should the selection committees be using? Evaluation sheets have been included in the guidebooks and will be used for all district, region, and state levels of competition. These scoring rubrics will be sent to the LEA coordinators once their names have been submitted. Regional and state committees will be using the same scoring rubric. Districts may continue to use whatever rubric they have used in the past, or they may use the ones we're using at the regional and state levels. Now, what are the levels of competition for these students? Each school may nominate a candidate for district or LEA consideration for the applicable grade level. Each Type 1 and Type 3 charter school will submit their nominees to their local school system. Types 2, Type 4, and Type 5 charter schools will submit their nominees to the regional charter school chairperson. Each district will select one nominee for each grade level to be considered at the regional level. Each regional charter school chairperson will submit their nominees to one of the 5 traditional regional selection committees. The regional committee will then select one nominee for each grade level to be considered at the state level. For parochial and private schools, each school may nominate a candidate for consideration for the applicable grade level. The schools will submit their nominee to the school diocesan chairman who conducts the selection process in the same manner as a district. Each of the 7 dioceses will submit their candidate to the diocesan regional chairman, Michael Miller, the assistant superintendent of the Baton Rouge Catholic Diocese. This selection committee will select one candidate for each grade level for state level consideration. When are the announcements of the candidates made? Schools and LEAs may determine their announcement dates. Regional nominees will be released by the state between March 14th and 17th in an official press release. Impacted districts will be notified prior to the official press release. All portfolios will be held by the regional coordinators until the state announces the results. Portfolios for the regional nominees will be sent to the state, and the remaining nominees' portfolios will be returned to the districts after March 17th. When is the actual day of competition? Tuesday, April 12th, the judges will review and score the portfolio. On Wednesday, April 13th, the nominees will assemble at the Claiborne Building, where they will complete a new writing sample and be interviewed by a panel of 5 judges. The portfolio, interview, and essay scores are combined to determine a final score. The results are announced at an awards program at 6 p.m. that evening. If you have any additional questions or you need additional information, please contact me, Marian Johnson, at marian.johnson@la.gov or at 225-219-7372. Thank you for participating in this webinar, and have a wonderful evening or afternoon. Thank you very much for your patience and time.
This has been a presentation of the Louisiana Department of Education and is copyright 2016, all rights reserved. For more information or to contact the Louisiana Department of Education, on the web go to www.louisianabelieves.com or call 1-877-453-2721.